Part 1. The Quiet Invitation. Have you ever watched a lotus flower float on a still pond? There's something about it, how it rests so lightly, how it opens slowly in the warmth of morning. That's the kind of sleep we all long for. Soft, deep, unhurried. But somewhere along the way, many of us stopped sleeping like that. Maybe it was the stress of everyday life, or the loneliness that tiptoes in after the house goes quiet. Maybe it was the noise of the world, buzzing behind our eyes even after we turn off the lights. And so tonight, let's try something different. Let's take a gentle journey, one that begins not with medicine, but with memory, not with routines, but with rituals. We're heading to a quiet village tucked in the hills of Japan, a place where people live to be 100, and more importantly, live well. There, sleep is not something you fight for. It's something you prepare for. Like a friend you invite in through an open door. Let me tell you a story. There's a small village called Ogimi, nestled by the sea in Okinawa. It's not a place of big cities or tall buildings. No, it's slower than that. Softer. People here wake early and sleep deeply. They walk slowly, speak kindly, and hold age not as a burden, but as a blessing. Some of them are 95, 102, even 108 years old. You'd think it's something in their genes, but ask them, and they'll smile and say, it's how we live and how we sleep. One of those people is a woman named Haruko. She's 97 now. Her back is slightly bent, her voice gentle as silk. Every evening she follows the same little ritual, one she's done since she was a girl. She walks barefoot into her garden just before the sun sets. There's a small corner where she grows lotus and chrysanthemum leaves. She picks a few with careful fingers, then steps back inside. In her kitchen, everything is quiet. No TV, no phone, just the whisper of water coming to a slow boil. She pours it over the leaves and waits, not checking the time, just listening. When the tea is ready, she carries it to the window. There she sits on a wooden cushion, facing the last light of day, and she breathes. She once said to a visitor, "I don't drink the tea to sleep. I drink it to thank the day. And when the day feels thanked, it lets go of me." Imagine that, not falling asleep by accident, but being gently released into sleep by a day that knows it was lived well. That's the first secret Haruko shares. Sleep isn't something we wrestle with. It's something we let happen when the body and the heart feel safe. In the West, we often go to bed thinking about everything that didn't get done. But in Ogimi, they go to bed by letting go. They write down one good moment from the day. They say thank you aloud, sometimes to the garden, sometimes to the sky. And in doing that, the mind becomes soft, like petals after the rain. The second thing they do is even simpler. They dim the world. You see, as the sun goes down, so does the light in every home. Not all at once, just slowly, naturally. Haruko's home has no ceiling lights, only warm lamps with soft paper shades. By the time night fully arrives, her world is already halfway to dreaming. You and I, we're used to bright rooms and glowing screens. But light has a voice, and when it's too loud, the brain never fully says, it's time. In Ogimi, they let the light whisper. They follow the rhythm of the day, not the pressure of the clock. And so when sleep comes, it feels like a continuation of life, not a pause from it. There's one more thing Haruko does. She never lies in bed waiting to sleep. She lies there, inviting sleep. There's a difference. Waiting creates tension. Inviting creates peace. Sometimes she hums softly to herself. Not a song, just a tone she remembers from childhood when her mother would comb her hair before bed. She says it brings the body back to safety, to softness, to home. And so tonight, perhaps you too can make a little space for this kind of rest. Maybe you make a warm cup of tea, lotus or chamomile, or whatever reminds you of stillness. Maybe you dim just one light. Maybe you whisper thank you to the day, even if it wasn't perfect. Sleep, like a lotus, doesn't rush to bloom. It opens when the world is quiet enough to notice it. Let's meet again soon for more of this story. But for now, just breathe. Item Part 2, The Rhythm Beneath the Silence. Do you remember the sound of your childhood home at night? Maybe it was the creak of wood cooling in the dark, or the gentle hum of a fan. Maybe it was the faint voice of a parent in the next room, telling one last story before sleep carried you off. There's something healing about that rhythm. Not music, not noise, just the soft language of life slowing down. In Ogimi, that rhythm still exists. The village sleeps not by chasing silence, but by finding comfort in the little sounds that belong to night. Haruko once told her granddaughter, "The night is not empty, it just speaks softer." And so in her home, there's a small bamboo chime by the window. It moves with the wind, barely a sound, more a feeling. She says it keeps her company, like an old friend sitting quietly nearby. Instead of fighting the night's quiet, she listens for the beauty in it. That's another secret to sleeping deeply, like the elders in her village. They don't try to silence the world. They learn to trust it. This trust shows up in other ways too. In Ogimi, people walk every evening, slowly, almost ceremonially. Not for exercise, not to burn off energy, just to let the day settle in their body. They call it Yugata no Sanpo, the twilight walk. Haruko's husband used to walk with her every evening after dinner. He passed away many years ago, but she still walks the same path. Past the stone lanterns under the old pine tree, down to the beach where the tide whispers like a lullaby. She walks slowly, never in a hurry, and she says that by the time she returns, she no longer needs to prepare for sleep. Her body already knows. Her thoughts have softened. Her breath has slowed. Her heart feels safe again. In many ways, the people of Ogimi treat sleep as something sacred, not a task, not a cure, but a quiet blessing that arrives when we live gently through the day. And that brings us to something beautiful, the idea of ma. It's a Japanese word that doesn't have a perfect English translation, but it means the space between. The space between two notes in music, the pause between the waves, the breath between two thoughts. In Ogimi, people honor these spaces. They don't fill every moment. They don't rush to solve or fix or finish. They leave room to feel, room to breathe, room for sleep to find its way back home. Maybe tonight we can make a little ma for ourselves. Turn off one light a little earlier. Pause for one long breath before reaching for the phone. Let one moment pass without filling it. Let the night come in, not as something to resist, but as something to welcome. Because that's what Haruko would say. Sleep does not begin when you close your eyes. It begins when you stop trying to stay awake. Sometimes she sits at her window just a little longer, watching the moon rise over the hills. She once told a neighbor, "The moon doesn't rush to shine. It waits for the darkness to arrive, then it glows. And maybe that's true for us too. We don't need to be perfect to deserve rest. We don't need to finish everything before we can lie down. We just need to slow down enough to hear the lullaby beneath the silence. So tonight, if your mind is still busy, if your heart feels full or heavy, maybe just take one step, like Haruko. A warm hand on your chest, a breath in, a breath out, and the soft reminder, you're safe now. The day is over. You've done enough. Sleep is not far. It's already coming to meet you. Part 3, the last light and the gift of letting go. There's a moment just before sleep when the world feels like it's holding its breath. You've felt it before, haven't you? That quiet space when everything slows. The clock still ticks, but somehow, time lets go of you. That moment is where Haruko finds rest every night. Not through effort, not by trying, but by practicing something most of us have forgotten, the art of surrender. In her village, the elders speak of sleep as a return. Not a pause, not an escape, but a return to balance. And balance for them isn't just physical, it's emotional, it's spiritual. Haruko doesn't carry anger or worry into bed with her. She lets it wait outside the door. Like muddy shoes she refuses to track across her clean floors. And how does she do it? Simple things, really. She writes just a few words in an old notebook. What made her smile? What made her pause? Who crossed her mind? She writes these things not to remember them, but to release them. It's her way of telling her heart, you've done enough for today. Let go now. In the West, we often rush to fill bedtime with distractions, scrolling, watching, checking things again. But in Ogimi, bedtime is a ritual of emptiness. The television is off, the phone is far away, the room is clean, quiet, and dim, not sterile, not cold, just peaceful. Haruko makes her bed slowly. She smooths the corners of the blanket, fluffs the pillow, and places a small satchel of dried lotus petals under it. Her mother did the same, and her grandmother before that. She says it's not just tradition, it's a message to the body. You are safe, you are home. You don't need to carry the weight of anything right now. That, my dear friend, is the final gift of the elders of Japan. Permission. Permission to stop trying so hard, to stop proving, planning, fixing, worrying, to be gentle with yourself. Haruko once whispered this as she laid down one evening. When I was young, I thought sleep was a waste of time. Now I know it is where I return to myself. Sleep, like the lotus flower, closes each night to protect its center. It doesn't bloom in the dark. It waits. And when the sun returns, it opens again, fresh, full of life. That's what true rest does. It protects your center, so that tomorrow you can bloom again. So tonight, maybe you make that tea. Maybe you write one small sentence in your notebook. Maybe you thank your body for carrying you through the day. And maybe, just maybe, you whisper into the quiet, thank you, day. You can let go now, because you can. You've done enough. You've been enough. And now you are allowed to rest. And remember this, a good night's sleep doesn't just restore your body, it nourishes your spirit. It softens the edges of the world and gives your heart a warm place to rest. It is the gift you give yourself, again and again, each night. So if this story has touched a piece of your memory, if it made you think of someone, or reminded you of a slower, gentler time, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. You never know. What you share might become the gentle light that comforts someone else. Tonight, if you felt soothed by this, please give this video a like and subscribe to Whispers Before Sleep so each evening we can take this peaceful journey together. Wishing you a restful night, and may you live well at every age.